Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing the school to prison pipeline. Now, the school to prison pipeline is a disturbing national trend wherein children are funneled out of public schools and into the juvenile and criminal justice systems. Many of the children that go through this have learning disabilities or histories of poverty, abuse, or neglect. Trouble at school can lead to a student's first contact with the criminal justice system, and in many cases, schools themselves are the ones pushing students into the juvenile justice system, often by having students arrested at schools. From this infographic, we are able to see that students of color face harsher discipline than whites. It states that 40% of students expelled from U.S. schools each year are black. 70% of students involved in in-school arrests or referred to law enforcement are black or Latino. Black students are 3.5 times more likely to be suspended than whites. Black and Latino students are twice as likely to not graduate high school as whites, and 68% of all males in state and federal prison do not have a high school diploma. Data from the CRDC shows that during the 2011-2012 school year, schools referred approximately 260,000 students to law enforcement, and approximately 92,000 students were arrested on school property during the school day or at a school-sponsored event. According to the CRDC, approximately 3.45 million students were suspended at least one time during the 2011-2012 school year, and approximately 130,000 were expelled from school during that same time period. The school-to-prison pipeline affects mostly African American youth, disabled youth, and youth who are part of the LGBTQ community. Students of color are disproportionately lower achievers and unable to read at basic or above. They're damaged by lower expectations and lack of engagement. They're retained in grade or excluded because of high-stake testing. Students of color are also disproportionately subject to more frequent and harsher punishment, placed in alternative disciplinary schools or settings, and referred to law enforcement or subject to school-related arrests. Students with disabilities are disproportionately disciplined and more harshly so. They retain in grade but still dropping out or failing to graduate. They are referred to law enforcement or subject to school-related arrest and incarceration. Students with disabilities are also disproportionately more likely to be placed in alternative disciplinary schools or settings, or otherwise more likely to spend time out of the regular classroom, to be secluded or restrained, and they're less likely to be academically proficient. LGBTQ students face similar disproportional negative treatment and are more likely victimized and blamed as victims, and again, the negative compounds. So these same differences plague the juvenile justice system for youth of color, youth with disabilities, and the LGBTQ community. Some states have tried to reduce the school-to-prison pipeline using several different methods. An example is Clayton County, Georgia, who had a program implemented to reduce the number of arrests in schools based on the School Referral Reduction Protocol. Under this program, police officers give kids a warning for a first low-level offense. Students are given a referral to a conflict diversion program or mediation program for a second offense. Eligible offenses include fighting, disorderly conduct, disrupting a public school, criminal trespass, and failing to obey commands from a police officer. The Clayton County, Georgia program reduced school arrests by more than 80% without reducing school safety. Weapons and fighting in school decreased substantially since the program started. Schools and teachers can foster school climates that engage all students in learning by preventing problem behaviors. They can keep expectations and consequences clear and appropriate, and they can ensure equity and continuous improvement in disciplinary policies and practices. Now you may be asking yourself, why should we care about the school to prison pipeline? But there are so many racial disparities that it is so important for us to care, and it affects so many of our youth that need to have a better school system in order to have a good future for themselves. Thank you for watching my video on the school to prison pipeline. I hope that this video taught you a few more new things on the school to prison pipeline. And here are my credits list with all my sources listed on them. Thank you.